Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Diva Diaries. I am your host, Sojo Bolt, and I am here with the one and the only, thank God there's only one, Miss Natural, Heather Patera. Yes.
Thank God there's only one.
Thank God there's only one. The world couldn't handle two.
No, I couldn't even imagine if I was a twin. Be in trouble.
What people don't know is that Heather is one of my best friends in the whole wide world. Whole wide world. We've known each other for a really, really long time.
At least, was it 2002 was when we first met?
2003.
2003? Yeah. That was fun. It was down at Harley's, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You came down to Harley. Was it with did Burns come down with you?
Yep. Matt Burns came down with me, and he tried to pull the whole I don't drive stick shift, so you have to drive the whole way. And I was like, oh, I guess we're not making it. Yeah. So I'm not driving the whole way down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta love it. Yeah, because, man, do you remember what town that was in?
I don't.
Dang. I remember there was a West Plains that we wrestled in. That's the one that that was you and Burns. Was that the night? No, that wasn't the first night we worked together. Was it when we did the million pins?
I don't remember. Long that was so long ago, dude. I can't even remember.
And this is why I'm divorced.
This is why. But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We will get to that. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the very, very beginning. Because normally what we do is talk about your childhood, where you come from, where you're athletic, all that good stuff, and then we move into wrestling in just a little bit.
Gotcha.
So, your childhood, you're from Minnesota just like me.
Yes.
In Minnesota.
Born and raised.
Girls in Minnesota play sports.
Yes.
That's what we do.
And not just any sports. Mainly hockey. Hockey. If you don't play hockey or softball, she was a cheerleader.
You need cheerleaders too.
Yeah, okay, you needed cheerleaders to cheer you on. I love her still.
Come on.
No, just kidding. Yeah, no, I grew up, definitely sports. I started playing softball. I want to say I was like 4 or 5 years old, and then I played that for, I want to say 25 years and everything. I played on my, yeah. That's one sport I absolutely love, but it's kind of hard for me to play because I threw my arm out so much, because I usually played outfield or shortstop. I had a really good arm. Sometimes it would be wild because my arm may be out. I had bursitis and all that tendonitis in my arm and everything from throwing. I remember one time I threw from shortstop, and I threw it way over the first baseman's head and went into another field. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, played 25 years of that and whatnot. And no, I had a lot of fun playing with that. I was one of those it was just sports just came natural for me. Wait.
There you go.
Yeah. And but yeah, I think it was a week after I turned 17, I hit my first over the fence home run in a co-ed softball. And this is the funniest, to me it's kind of funny because I was just I hit the ball and I just went around the bases and people are like, Malberg, why are you running? I'm like, so I don't get, tagged out. And they're like, it went over the fence. I'm like, oh. I was like, fuck yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm gonna walk.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I had a blast when I was 16. I went with my uncle to nationals with his women's team. The women were basically mid-30s and their 40s and everything. I was 16. We went down to Shreveport, Louisiana for nationals and everything. I can't remember much down there. I remember the softball chicks. They were getting wasted and they were going to go see Chippendales. I was never interested in that. That's gross.
You're a different kind of girl anyway. So.
Well, no, guys, yeah, but what did I say? Did I say that to you earlier? I said, I said guys, they shouldn't dance. No, that was Helena. I said guys shouldn't dance. All they need to do is just stand there and look pretty and wear their boxer briefs.
That's it.
They do not need to dance like women.
Well, why would they dance like women? That's not...
Because it's Chippendale. They're... Their little hip thrust dance. That's the funniest thing. I always wanted to go to Chippendales and take quarters and just chuck it at them.
That's rude.
I know. I probably just offended the male strippers.
And there's tons of them watching, so...
I know.
Offend away. Oh, so let's get back on track. So you were huge in softball. You played hockey.
Yes.
Which is a very rough sport.
Yeah.
Especially for a female.
Yeah, and in Minnesota, you're not supposed to check in there, but yeah, it's yeah. You get your shots in and everything, but no, I had fun. I actually I started playing hockey. I was in 11th grade. I had no freaking clue how to really ice skate. I went ice skating with figure skates and everything, but like hockey skates, I didn't know how to do the hockey stop or anything. So I remember like there was a 2-week captain's practice if you wanted to get on the team and everything. So, and it was the varsity coach from the boys team that did the girls' captain's practices and everything. And I just remember like barely like standing on these skates, but I could go full board and everything, and like literally the only way I could stop myself is running right into the boards full on. So I'd hit the boards, boom, crash, get up, do it again and everything. And yeah, and he would just kind of be looking at me like kind of chuckling and everything. But by the end of the first week I was able to stop and everything. And I played in 11th grade, I played on junior varsity, and then by the middle of the season I was already on like third string varsity. Like that, I just caught on that quick with hockey and everything. And then like by the end of the year we had our banquet and I was voted one of the captains for the varsity team. And then like the following year, my senior year playing, yeah, I was like first, second string on. I mean, it's just like I caught on that fast and everything. And after that, Minnesota selects. It's basically like the ones that kind of excelled a little bit more in hockey and everything.
Like a pro team.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like they pretty much bring like the best of the women or the girls hockey team and our high school hockey team, and they have like a big tournament. And everything, and it all based on where you were located and everything. And I just remember it was pretty sweet because like I liked wolves and stuff, so there was like a wolf, like a timber wolf on there, and like my favorite colors are red, white, and black, and that's what my jersey is and everything. So that's my dorky little yay. But yeah, no, so actually I got to play on that, so that was cool. They put me as a forward. I always played defense, but so playing forward was kind of I don't like it because you got to be a little faster. I mean, defense you got it too, but like there's more with being a forward, and then there is defense from what I recall. But yeah, so no, I did that, and then they had like after that, like a bunch of the high school people, they had like a league out and everything, and the Blaine coach, Anoka and Blaine were like kind of big, especially in girls hockey. That was like a good rivalry there.
Those are big districts.
Yeah.
People who don't know.
Yes.
Those are big schools.
Yes. Big school. Yeah, I think like there's 3,400 kids in my school when I was in there. But yeah, like she always picked me to be on her team and everything, which was pretty freaking cool because she was like one of those coaches. She wanted the best, she had an awesome perm mullet. Marcy. I think Marcy was her name, but she was awesome. She was really cool. I think I played, they had spring and fall, and I played, I want to say 3 out of the 4 times I got picked by her to be on her team and everything. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun. Especially playing against your old teammates from your high school and everything. You're playing against each other. Yeah. Especially when you have a friend on there on the opposite team. But this is funny. We're like, the puck's coming, we're like going after the puck and everything. We both look at the puck and we're like, fuck the puck. I mean, literally, we just look at each other and we're like, fuck it. Just like, we both went in the penalty box.
On purpose.
But it was totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Boom. Yeah.
So it's no surprise that my friend Heather became a professional wrestler because she's always been quite athletic and quite physical, to say the least.
When I was a senior, do you ever have to do like senior projects when we had to do something where we had to pick like 3 things that we wanted to do when we grew up, and mine was either being a stuntman, a monster truck driver, or a professional wrestler. I got 1 out of the 3 down. So
and there's still time for the other 2.
Yes. So if anybody knows how to hook me up with monster trucks,
There are a lot of female wrestlers who are doing monster truck driving now.
I know. Medusa, when I saw that Medusa was doing it, I popped huge for it.
Nikita's getting into
Oh, really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I just love big trucks.
Yeah.
Like, I am genuinely kind of ticked off Bigfoot is not out there anymore.
That's like the next step. After we're done wrestling, we go into monster trucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a given.
Yeah.
Duh. It's like going to college after going to high school. After pro wrestling, it's monster trucks.
I didn't have to do senior projects. I went to art school for my last 2 years of high school. So it was not as structured as a regular high school. That's what I'll call it. So we didn't have anything like that. But I don't know. I mean, you had to go to your career counselor and figure out, these are the best fields for you to go into.
Oh, God. Oh. Yeah, that stuff. So we had like a career day. Oh my gosh. So like, obviously everybody hates death, like I mean, it's just, I had so many deaths in my family that it's just like a creepy out thing for me. So do the career day. And I picked like veterinarian and something like that because I was just like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, whatever. Yeah, well, I get my card to go visit these places, and one was a funeral director. Wow. They gave me funeral director. I'm like, I'm not going. Yeah, how freaking creepy is that?
That is crazy.
Oh, it's gross. Gross. Sorry, I just killed it. Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're just fine. I'll bring it back around.
Bring it back around. Bring it back around. I told you I get off subject.
Right. That's okay. That's okay. You got me.
Thank God.
All right, so hockey's prevalent in your life when you're, graduating from high school.
Yeah.
Is there any talk of scholarship of carrying on to college or anything like that?
No, I honestly I had no desire going to college. I mean, school. I mean, I like school, but I mean, it was one of those things it just wasn't my thing at all. I didn't my mom. My mom knew I wanted to wrestle. And she's like, you are going to college before you go to wrestle. And I'm just like, I don't want to go to college, And I probably took maybe a year off. And I moved down to Mankato, Minnesota. And just dinked around down there for about 4 or 5 months.
Mankato's the biggest party school.
I dinked around down there pretty much.
Mankato State is ranked for party schools.
Yeah, I didn't go to school down there, but
you lived there.
Yeah, we had I think the apartment complex we were in Devonshire, but we called it Ghettoshire because it was just it was a party place and everything. But I mean, it was just kind of pretty much run down. It was it was really cheap.
Yeah,
3 bedrooms, $600 a month. And it's just one of those it was just run down and everything. Yeah, party school.
Okay, so when did you decide you wanted to be a professional wrestler? Obviously, it came up on your card. You wrote it down.
Yeah.
Pro wrestler, stuntman, monster truck driver.
I always, I want to say I started at 7 years old is when I started watching wrestling, and I loved everything about it, Hulk Hogan came out. What is it what did somebody say? If you're the kid of the 80s, you're two types of kid. You're either a Hogan kid or a Warrior kid, and I was a Hogan kid, and it's just the energy those two guys portrayed out there. It's you got the crowd, the music just hits and it's boom, and it's amazing, and it's an awesome rush, and the athleticism that was in it and everything. And I mean, I was hooked. I watched it forever until Hulk Hogan left WWF, because I only watched WWF back then. I refused to watch WCW. Don't ask. I was a kid. I was loyal to my brand.
That's okay.
I'm a loyal person. But yeah, until about 97. And then, and I love the energy. The Rockers were huge. Perfect, Rude. Those were the guys I absolutely loved to watch, back in the day. And it was one of those things I want to do that.
And even being a Minnesotan, did it even occur to you that there was such a rich wrestling tradition there? So many really good wrestlers came from Minnesota. Did you even know that?
No. It's I was so, I don't want to say sheltered, it's one of those things you're oh, I mean, you really find out how many wrestlers are there, more than what you know already, and you're just holy crap, And when I worked down in Crystal, Golden Valley area, and actually there was a gym. I was I need to go to a gym, start at a gym and everything. Actually, this is when I first started wrestling and everything too. And I went, and there's a gym in Plymouth called The Gym, and it's owned by Animal, and I think somebody else in there and everything. And it's fun. I'd see Barry Darso, I was about to say Horowitz, Barry Darso in there, and you know, he'd be on the shows with us too up there and everything. And I mean, it was just, yeah, I mean, like you're like jogging next to Kurt Hennig, you know, it's like all the wrestlers, they would go there and everything. They would drive to that gym. And I love that gym. And like you'd literally see all the wrestlers there, and I was like, this is amazing, you know. And I mean, it's so like with the AWA and everything in there, it's just, yeah, definitely a rich culture of wrestling.
I think once I found out that there was so much wrestling, like really great wrestlers that came from Minnesota, also like the sense of pride, like, oh no, I come from Minnesota, the place where wrestling was invented. Oh,
yes, yeah. Yeah. That's why I like using the pride of Minnesota. You know, like, yeah, it's like I'm very proud of my state. That's why it's like I live in Kansas City right now. Even like I've seen on the like a website said I was born in Eldon, Missouri. I emailed them. I will cuss anybody out if they ever say that I'm from there. So even a fan one time they put on Facebook, they're like, what the hell did they say? They said something. Show them how us Missourians do it. I'm like, I'm not a Missourian. I said I am a Minnesotan. I'm just transplanted down here temporarily.
I'm still a Minnesota. I still have my license.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I do. I still have my Minnesota license.
I hate you. I'm so jealous. I got my phone number. That's all I got.
Oh, I still have that too.
That's all I got.
Okay, so you knew you wanted to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
You knew. How were you going to make this happen? Because this is the day before, these were the days before internet. This was before, like... Well,
there was I mean, the internet was still pretty dang new. Yeah. Because, I mean, there was Sharkey School, you know, and everything.
Which is where I ended up going.
Yeah. And, who else was there? Oh, like, China, wasn't it China that trained at Killer Kowalski's? Like, I remember hearing that and looking up, and that was, way out there, and I was just like, oh, man. I was like, that'd be cool. And then I found out, you know, training with Ken Patera, and I was like, yeah, you know, and then later on, you know, I mean, it's just, I mean, it was great, like, experience on, like, I mean, just, like, trying to, you know, find everything, it fell in your lap, and whatnot, and
well, how did you find his school? How did you find him? Okay, hold on. Okay, back it up. Kim Patera has a school. How did you start training? How did you start training?
He's actually my adopted dad.
Right.
Yeah.
But you didn't grow up with him.
No, I did not grow up with him.
There had to be an initial introduction.
Yeah. And it was just, actually, when did he start his school? I think it was like in 98. And I started training in 2000 there. So, it's one of the, just stumbled upon it, you know, and then everything. So he adopted me and everything. But, like, it was one of those, like, it was just one of those, I literally stumbled onto it. I'm like, this is probably like the coolest thing ever, you know? And one of my friends, we were more acquaintances in high school and everything, and he was actually training there. And like, he's like, yeah, we need female wrestlers. He's like, there's none in the state of Minnesota. Like, you, Lacey, Rain, haven't even started yet. And then I think there was just Shay, who I started out with.
Shay Physique.
Yes.
Shay Physique.
Yes, Shay Physique. And she was there. She was pretty much it. I mean, Harley Race would bring her down to Missouri to wrestle Malaya Hosaka and everything. And that was pretty much, I think Malaya came up like 1 or 2 shows in Minnesota. I don't know. It was like before, Shay started like maybe 6 months before I did, and I wanted maybe 6 to 8 months before I did and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, so I started training with her. I remember walking in the first day of training, and they're like, oh, I think they just wanted Shay to show me how to lock up and, you know, everything, locked up, and then she's like, okay, she was in no position to be training, but you know, you're young, dumb, you know how it's like when you're starting something new, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trust you. I don't even know why people still trust me sometimes. hey, you want to do this? Yeah, it's my first time. I'm not going to tell you till after.
Yeah.
But, and then she's like, oh, yeah, take a bump. And I'm like, bump, like, I mean, I knew some of the things, like what they were called, the suplexes, arm bars, all that stuff. And, I'm like, bump, yeah, you just fall down, I'm like, okay. So, yeah, I took a bump, and, like, I'm doing that, and they're like, yeah, we don't want you to do that yet. But then, like, we did a whole bunch of others, like, like working on arm bars and all this stuff. And, pretty much, he, like, I mean, I literally caught on really easy. I mean, even, the guy, Jason Vane.
I remember
Jason Vane, yeah. He ended up, did you know that he had brain cancer?
Yes.
Yeah.
A big old brain tumor.
Yeah, and I think he's actually living, like, well, last I talked to him a couple years ago, he was, like, living north of Kansas City, too. But anyway, and, but yeah, and him and, like, a couple other guys was like, man, you're catching on this really easy, And then, yeah, Ken, he's just like, I'm calling you Miss Natural, He's like, you pick up on everything so easy. And so it's kind of like based off of like a Mr. Perfect gimmick, basically. And that's what I hate. Oh my gosh, I want to punch people in the face, literally. They're like, you don't look natural, blah, blah. I'm like, and I just want to be like, fuck you. It's not about that. I was like, it's not about that, and it's just like, they're like, oh, you should grow your armpit hair out and blah, blah. I'm like, I really want to punch you right in the throat. But yeah, so like that's how I got my name on that. So it's like I've been using that ever since, obviously. And but yeah, so it's like, yeah, so I mean there was a lot of that training, and it was in a kind of like a shed, kind of like a pole barn, like where the training was. It was like a big like a storage, like people would store their boats in there, they would store, I mean, whatever, cars, whatever, and then we had a ring in there, and then it was hot during the summer. I mean, not as hot, yeah, I mean, I can't say it was hot, I mean,
Missile gets super humid.
Yeah.
Super humid.
Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, it was hot, but then when it came wintertime, holy shit, there was no heat, because it was a pole shed, but so we'd have these tarps around the ring, and then we'd have like 2 propane heaters like shooting out the. It was still freaking cold as crap. The mat was hard as shit.
It was frozen.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. But then like after a while, I mean, you'd have your layers on, but by the time you're done training, it's like you're pretty much in a t-shirt and your
body's all warmed up.
Yeah. So I mean, it was colder than shit. And I started training May 5th, 2000. And I had my first match June 10th of 2000. We were in Warrens, Wisconsin. It was at a Yellowstone Park. It was like a Yogi Bear thing.
So 1 month.
Yeah. Yep.
1 month.
Yeah, I literally had like a month of training.
Yeah.
And I remember Jason Vane, he like literally scripted out the whole match, and he's like, because first time actually having a match, you're like, okay, you're like, I'm looking at this damn thing. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to remember that? I mean, like, you're like, how are you going to remember this? It's like, this is insane, And then, yeah, like I said, I mean, Shay maybe had maybe a dozen matches by then, and it was, I mean, actually, it went off really good, Yeah, my sister was recording it, and all you could hear her just kind of like giggling in the background, like, she's like, are you nervous? I said, no, not at all, I mean, I was, but like, not like freaking out nervous, and here she is in the camera just laughing her ass off like through the whole thing. I was just like, oh my gosh, shut up. But yeah, I mean, and it went off good, and it's, the funny thing is, like, I remember when blah, 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 fast forward just a second here, like, Trevor Murdoch's like one of my best friends when I moved down to Eldon at Harley School, and I remember we would always hang out, watch wrestling tapes together, and then it's like one of those, like, he's like, so I want to show you my first match, So I pop it in. No. Here, I'm popping in, we're sitting on the couch, and I'm just like, I'm giggling because I'm like, you got that, like, I hate when people, like, judge everything, and, like, I mean, it's like you're so new, and from, like, fast forward, like, a year and a half, 2 years, and you're just like, and I go to Trevor, I'm like, so what did you think? And he's like, It's a lot better than mine.
Oh.
It's like, I feel a lot better now.
Everybody's first match is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't. Oh, except for Sassy Stephanie. Hers was great.
Bitch. It's not fair. Not fair.
It's not.
Oh my gosh.
But then when we go back and look after a year or so, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
I
didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I didn't know any better.
Like, I didn't know, you know? And what was funny too, like, I think like 2 months later, we went like towards the end of summer, and we wrestled at the same spot. And, like, literally, I'm such an idiot. Like, I was so thinking, like, okay, what we're going to do next. You know, I took the hip toss. She comes off the rope with a leg drop. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Who forgot to kick out? This girl. And I was just like, oh, shit. Yep. I just done fucked that up. You know,
Lesson learned.
5 minutes, intro, exit, and match. It was funny. Oh my gosh. It was
Well, at
horrible.
least you did it early. There are people who still do that to this day.
Yeah.
And 10, 12 years in. Oops, I forgot to kick out. What?
My bad.
I got comfortable.
It's
Sorry.
weird. If you can get a good ref, that'll be like, oh, shoulders up.
Yeah. That's right.
Thank you.
Sorry. Took a little nap.
I almost did that last year.
See? It can happen to anybody.
It's because I knew what was coming up next, and like I knew without knowing. The guy had me. This guy was, I think he was like 6'4", 6'5". I mean, like 300 pounds. Melanie Cruz and I were doing a tag team against Jason. Oh shoot, what was their name? Justice Jones and Xavier. I forgot his first name. By Chicago area after Shimmer, and I was like, oh man, he's got me in the reverse chin lock, and he's like, you're gonna duck my clothesline and give me crossbody, and I kept on going crossbody, and he's like crossbody. I'm like crossbody and what? And the ref's like going like this. Boom. I'm like crossbody and what? I'm like crossbody, and then I'm like, oh, put this hand up. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Do the deal, and then he did the swinging rock bottom, and it's like from a guy that's that tall and that big. I just sat there or laid there. I'm like, oh fuck! I am apologizing to every girl I gave this move to. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I remember when that was your finish. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was painful. But anyway, yeah. So like, sorry. So I trained up there in Minnesota. I was up there for, it was May, June, July, August. I was up there for 15 months training, we did shows. I started actually wrestling for Harley 3 months into my training on top of it. So, because it was like September, I want to say 16th, that I started working for Harley of 2000.
How do you know the date this far back?
See, this is why I say this is why I'm divorced. But it's not really why I'm divorced. No, I am like stupid. Like when it comes to dates and stuff, there's a lot of dates that I remember. I may not remember the exact date, but I could remember like the month and the year when it was and stuff. But yeah, I don't know how, but I cannot remember like my short-term stuff. Like I will forget everything, and yeah, like I literally, my ex-husband would be like, he's like, how come you can remember where you wrestled, what you were wearing, who you wrestled, how it ended, what street it was on, this and that, and how to get back to the building because we got to go there, years later, but you can't remember to pick up a damn loaf of bread. I said, that's just how it is. That is how it is.
Priorities.
Yep. Not that cheap Walmart bread. It's got to be Sara Lee. It's got to be Sara Lee because it's a good quality.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I always got in trouble for that too. Get the cheap bread. No. So anyway, working for Harley.
Yeah. Work for Harley.
Yeah, started Keokuk, Iowa. And, oh gosh. Keokuk, Iowa. And I did a mixed tag match. I think I was with a guy named AWOL, and then which was hilarious, right? Because I was wearing like black and white and gray camo pants, and I had a black top on. Because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck wrestling gear is. Like, this is like, I'm still new to this whole world and everything. And then Shay was with DI. Remember DI?
Drill instructor?
Yeah, the drill instructor.
Okay.
He lived in St. Louis. And he obviously had the green. He had the green. And then Shay was wearing her green plaid booty shorts and everything. And we wrestled against each other. I'm sorry. I love Shay, but...
She's not around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was one of those, like, I gave her a hair bill. Boom, tossed her across the ring. She ends up breaking her finger. Who gets blamed? This chick. She blamed me for so much shit on the road. It was ridiculous. One time I told her, this is when, you know, I like quoting my dad on shit. She's like, I did hair mirrors, you know, and everything. You're taking your own bomb, you know, you're doing your own thing. It's just boom, boom. So we're going home one night back to Minnesota, and we were actually in Troy in Mexico in April. I think it was 11th and 12th of, I want to say it was 2001. And we were driving up on the east side of the States and everything. And were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about the stupid date thing again.
Just listening.
And she goes, man, you really wrenched on my neck. And I was like, smart ass elf, opportunity. You know what'll help? What? Don't move your neck. And here I am like, I'm like smiling and giggling to myself. That's not funny! Just like, oh shit. I was like, this is the greatest ever. I'm still grinning ear to ear because I'm just like, yes. There's so many damn stories on that one. She got us lost so many damn times. I'm just like, how do you screw this up? You know, like
Well, that was the time before GPS. That was back when people needed to learn how to read maps, and you know that's not easy for some people.
I know.
Reading
Trust me,
maps is not easy.
No, the worst part, because I always had the McNally apps, whatever. I can't even say it right now. But they were the big, huge ones. So, like me, I'm just one of those, like, type, when it comes to getting from point A to B to A, I don't really care going B to A unless I'm driving through the night and I want to get home. But A to B, I have to have everything structured. We're doing this. And, like, I would literally highlight the highways. Each one, I'd have paper clips and everything. You cannot fuck this up. You can't, right? Yes, you can.
Of course.
But I mean, I would even write out like on a small piece of paper so you could put on the dash or like in the cup holder, like even with the symbols and everything, like in the south, you know. Of course, I remember one time because I'm like, oh yeah, you go south, blah 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 blah, and or we were going home, so we were going north, and we were above Des Moines, and she started going south on 35, and I was like, Shay, I said we don't live in Des Moines. I said, we live in Minneapolis. I said, I'm not living in Iowa. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, north is that way. And she's like, oh, well, women don't have a good sense of direction. I'm like,
No.
this chick does.
Plenty of women do.
Yeah.
You do not have a good sense of direction.
Oh my gosh, they're horror stories. Oh my gosh. It was crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I like traveling by myself a lot.
You know, you get there on time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're training with Ken, and you're wrestling for Ken's running shows, and then Harley, you know, is picking you guys up, and you guys are wrestling for him down in Missouri and in Iowa.
A lot.
You're going down a lot because he ran a lot. He ran very regularly.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that first year that I worked for him, I mean, between the two companies, those were the only two companies I was working because it was like every single weekend we were working.
Yeah.
It was another Shay story. So, yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this one. This is good. So, I think she just hated me just being another chick. You know, she was a stripper. Obviously, stripper mentalities aren't really nice towards other females and everything. And, I mean, like, to my face, she'd be half-assly nice, and then, like, behind my back, I'd hear horrible things that were said. But, like, Harley, we were already booked for my dad and everything, and then Harley calls Shay, hey, can you work these dates? And I think it was, like, February or something like that in 2001, and she's like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Harley calls me up. He's like, Natural, can you work these dates? In my mind, I already knew we were booked. And for my dad and everything up in Minnesota, and then like everything. And I said, well, what did Shay say? Shay said you could do it. I said, well, whatever Shay says, we can do. You know, so I totally threw myself under the bus. Get the call from my dad. You fucking douchebag, double booking. Like, I'm just like, I got a smile on my face because I'm like, I know this is, if you get called a douchebag, it is fabulous. It's like an honor to be called a douchebag by him. I loved it. I popped. I was like probably the only person he didn't call, and it was just, I was kind of feeling left out. So it's like, it was one of those, I threw myself under the bus on that one, because I'm like, I was like, well, it's like, you know what, she's treating me like shit. I'm like, screw it, I'll throw myself under the bus too for this one, just so she'll get yelled at too. So she'll get yelled at too. So like, in my mind, I was smiling on the other end of the phone. I'm like, love you.
Now, since you guys were so busy, you weren't really looking for bookings any place else.
No. Right. I mean, it was
literally every week,
every single week. And I mean, I want to say for Harley that, I mean, like I said, the first year that I went down with started working for him, I mean, it was probably like, I want to say around 35 weekends a year we were going down. I mean, and that's not easy going from Minnesota to Missouri. I mean, it's a minimum. I think the least amount that I drove was at least 7 hours. That's another road trip story that got us lost. Like 180 miles out of the way, one way. And and then I've traveled up to like 11 hours from Minnesota down to like the bottom of like basically just a little bit south of Branson, Missouri, which is like a tourist town and everything there. And that's another shitty story. It's a mess. I'm not even gonna But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of driving, and it's not like we go down there, stay the night. No, it was like go down there, boom, come back. So I mean, it's like we were on the road all the time.
But you know what was good about those times is gas prices were under $1.
Oh my gosh,
gas was under $1 back then.
It was
not
amazing.
To like date ourselves really awful.
I know.
But remember, gas was 76 cents.
I think the most that I ever, like back then, like when I was from Minnesota, when I was still living in Minnesota and everything, I want to say like maybe $1.11. $1.12 was like the highest that you saw. So I mean, it's cool. I mean, yeah, you can work for a promoter hours and hours and hours away, work for $100, you still come home with money.
You still have money.
It was
gas wasn't expensive.
Amazing, yeah. It's like you don't need to charge gas, trans, or if gas was like that, I'd be like, I'll come in for $100.
I got a job.
Yeah,
I got this.
I'll do that. Yeah. So yeah, that was an amazing. I miss those times. And then I had a Saturn back then. So yeah. That got amazing. I think 38 miles to the gallon. I wore that thing out so bad. I drove that so much.
I wore out too.
Yeah. But yeah.
So when did things change at the school? Like I know that there was a transition
that
led to your move.
Yeah. Basically, my dad's company, he started slowing down on the on the bookings and everything. He got a shoot job selling gravel and everything. I forgot. It's like a rock refinery and everything, crush up gravel and everything. So he was more focused on that, because it was more of a commission sales, and he was just kind of weeding out the wrestling a little, having them maybe every couple months. And I was just sitting there, I was like working for Harley, and then I talked to BJ, his deceased wife. I was just like I said, hey, I'd really, I seen your guys wrestle, and back then, I mean, WLW, World League Wrestling, was amazing. The talent was insanely amazing. And when I first went down there, it's just one of those things like, it's like, wow, and like, it was just amazing. That's all I can say,
The training was amazing. The facility was amazing. Like, what was so amazing about
it? Just the one of the first shows that I watched, I sat and watched almost every match, and I remember because it was Keokuk, Iowa, and it was Trevor Murdoch and his tag team partner Bull Schmidt at the time. And Superstar Steve and all that, Matt Murphy, and just watching them, like how their wrestling was just so clean. There was nothing sloppy about it. Their psychology, just the way they blended together and worked as a team, like not just tag team, but like in the ring together, they just meshed so well. And it was just like, just watching those guys was absolutely crazy, And I told Steamboat, I watched Steamboat. It was I want to say it was 2011, October 2011, October 22nd, 2011. we had one of the NOAA WLW camps, and Steamboat was there and everything. And Steamboat grabbed my hand and he said, "Come with me and watch this." I said, "Okay." And we were sitting there watching it and everything. And I told him, I said, "These 4 guys in that ring," I said, "that's the reason why I came down here." I said, because just like the knowledge, obviously they had Harley race, sitting at every training. Harley would kind of get up at the ring. Sometimes he would get in the ring. But, like, he'd get up there and he'd be like, "Well, if you're going to do this, just hook it a certain way, blah, blah, blah." I mean, his training down there, it was really intense, you did about 45 minutes to an hour of cardio, like calisthenics and everything before. And there was no freaking air conditioning in that building.
There never seems to be air conditioning.
No.
There never seems to be any air conditioning.
No, and it's just like, and going from Minnesota heat to Missouri heat was the worst possible thing ever, because actually that was it was August 20th is when of 2001 is when I moved down there. And I was training, and I mean it was 114 with the heat index down there, and in the Minnesota it was like 99, I think it was like 95. And actually one of the Minnesota Vikings died of heat stroke up there that year in training. I think it was in Mankato he died. And, oh my gosh. And then did you ever meet Skippy, the referee?
It sounds familiar. Even though you probably just talked about him a lot.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
And, so we would be doing this training. 114 degree heat, no air conditioning in the building. You'd have, like, these double doors open, and it was on a strip in downtown Eldon, Missouri, where Harley School is at. And then you'd have, like, a big fan, So, like, you're in there. Heather Savage, Bull Schmidt's now ex-wife, her and I, like, wrestled a lot. We trained probably, it depended. Like, her and I probably trained an extra 5-6 hours a week during the daytime. And then, like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there was training at night from, like, 5 to 8:30. And I think we were still doing, like, Saturday morning trainings if we didn't have shows on a Saturday, which was still really rare if we didn't have shows. But yeah, it was just freaking hot. I remember this one time I was so hot and I just, like, gassed. Drinking water. We would go over to the fan. We're just like this, like putting our hair up and whatever, just like standing, just trying to cool down, because you could not cool down. Just sweat's I hate sweat. It's disgusting. But it's dripping off of you. It's, yeah. And Skippy, that son of a bitch, like, he got pissed at us for taking a break when he didn't say, turn the fan off. And then we still ended up training like another hour or so.
Wow.
And it's like one of those, like, I looked at him and I said, "So like, I'm not used to this heat." I said, "A Minnesota player just died." I said, "Do you think I want to die down here?" I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, he was such a dick. He had his nice moments too. But that son of a bitch, he could, his cardio was absolutely amazing, and he had, like, the worst diet possible. He was a chain smoker. He would drink Pepsi, and pretty much only Pepsi, and that's all I remember him drinking. Eat donuts and fried food from one of the gas stations. This, like, and it's not like fried food like KFC. This is like gas station fried food, to where it's like all dried out and it's really greasy and oily. And I'm like, and you're sitting like, how? And he can keep up with the guys, like, insane. I'm like, you have the shittiest diet. I'm like, he's gonna die soon. He's still kicking. He's still kicking. I'm just like, oh, I did not know how he survived. But yeah, it was really intense, And I give a lot of my credit, like, cleaning up my wrestling, making it just more crisp and everything in the ring, and just learning new other ways on stuff. I really give a lot of credit to Trevor and Matt Murphy, and because those two spent a lot of time with me in the ring. Bull Schmidt did too, but and Steve did too. But Trevor, I hung out with Trevor. We lived together in a house. There was a couple of us wrestlers, but we'd always watch wrestling tapes, training. And man, I remember one time, oh my gosh, in training, Takawa Mori, he was over in America from Noah in Japan. And I remember we were in the training ring, and, like, Amori and I were tag teaming. I want to say it might have been Trevor and Bull. Oh my gosh! Like I don't know if I hip tossed Trevor out of the corner, I body slammed him or whatever, and I all of a sudden I just went blank, and I'm just sitting here I'm like standing in the corner. I'm like and here comes Trevor getting up, and then I'm just like and here comes Trevor. He's like, boom, and I just like, fuck. He's like, you're not gonna forget again, are you? I said, nope. Not at all. I tell people, I will never go blank in the ring ever again.
Never again.
Because I don't want to get hit like that again. But I mean, and like even Trevor will say, he's like, you know what? He's like, we beat the shit out of you. He's like, but we never went home and said, man, Natural didn't deserve that. He's like, no, we knew you could take it. He's like, we knew that you could be pushed. And, you know, and trained like one of the guys. He's like, whenever a girl stepped in, you know, to the school, and they're like Wendy, you know, she knows Wendy too. But, you know, it's like, whenever like a girl would be like, oh, we can't do that, and they would literally be like, all right, Natural, get in the ring. And then they do whatever and they do it a lot harder to me than they would do it to them and everything.
Well, you were one of those girls that the guys all super respected because you got in the ring and you did the work.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if there was ever a question, I think they even said it to me, Matt Murphy even said it to my face. He's like, I hate women's wrestling.
Yeah.
I hate women's wrestling, but I love Miss Natural.
Yeah, he actually, like, when he wrote his book.
Yeah, he put it in his book, I think.
Yeah.
Even. Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know, a lot of women in this business, you know, they're just whores. You know, I mean, they're not really in it to wrestle. I really don't think they are. I think they really want the attention more than anything. I do it because I love sports. I absolutely love sports, and this is my one way of, you know, doing my thing, you know, because it's like, and I love traveling too, so that's like one of my big things. I love driving. I love hopping in a car and just going. You know, that's kind of like my therapy. If I'm stressed out, I love to drive. You know, I mean, unless it's through Iowa.
I know, because there's nothing.
There's nothing except the windmills.
Nothing at all.
Then you got the windmills. Yeah. My daughter's always like, windmills. I'm like, yeah, windmills.
All right, so it sounds like you always had a constant opponent that you were kind of married to. And that happens a lot in wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, if a promoter gets his hands on two girls, you guys are together all the time.
Yes.
And you will wrestle everywhere.
Yes.
Together because there are no other girls.
Yes.
And of course now it's not that way anymore. There are just girls everywhere.
There's so many now.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Like back, I don't know if I said it to you or I said it to somebody. Like back in the day, there really was few, like, I mean, there was Lollipop, you, me, Lacey Rain, ODB, Tracy Brooks, Angel Williams,
yeah.
Little Genie, but like, those are ones that I was really aware of, but I mean, you had quality, you know, and it's like, when you had a show, you go on the show, you knew you were going to have a good women's match, you know, and now there's quantity more than quality. I mean, there's still quality out there. I mean, there's still girls. I mean,
we're still around.
The old guys, we're still out there. But yeah, you know. But there's so many girls out there that honestly, I mean, they do not belong in the ring.
Yeah, not
at
yet,
all.
Anyway.
At all.
Not yet. But that's okay. That's okay. I mean, what's crazy is back in that time we didn't have that many to choose from, so we kind of really all had to get along, because if I didn't have an opponent, you weren't wrestling unless you wanted to wrestle a boy.
Yeah.
You know, and in fact in Minnesota we did that quite a bit. ODB wrestled boys all the time.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
So that was her choice though at the time.
Yeah. I'm one of those, like, I think I've only wrestled guys twice. Like, I mean, I train with the guys, but I like to stick with the girls, because it's one of those, like, if I start beating the boys, why do I want to go back to wrestling girls?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the guys' gold.
Right.
You know, that's my whole theory in that, which, I mean, I don't mind wrestling guys, because then, like, I'm not a high flyer or anything. Like, with girls, I can't do that, because I'm always the bigger girl, and I'm the one that's their base to do their stuff on. But it's nice when actually now I'm kind of liking it, like, to where it's like, oh, you know, you wrestle these bigger guys.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? You know, that Hurricane Rana. I'll try a Hurricane Rana, you know?
Bust it out today.
Yeah. Like,
Never had to before, but you know what? I got somebody face for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who, you know, it's like, who was it? I don't know. One of the it was like a year and a half ago, and like one of the guys and I, we started our match out with thumb wrestling. It's so stupid, but yeah, I mean, and it was a more technical match, and I like that because it's like a lot of the matches nowadays, like we were discussing the other day or yesterday or whatever, like when you wrestle with Harley, it was like 15, 20 minutes, you know, so you're doing a lot of chaining back then, and so you know your skills up a little bit, like, and then I was gone for a couple of years. And then came back, and then most of the matches are only like 8 minutes. You're like, what the crap?
Yeah,
so
things
like,
have changed.
Yeah, I mean, like you really have short matches. Like I don't think I've gone. I mean, unless it was a tag team that I did, I haven't gone over maybe 12 minutes in a match. And
I think that went with the quality of the wrestlers because the first time Harley brought me down to work for WLW, it wasn't against you, it was against Wendy, wonderful Wendy.
That was the first time. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. And I think it was the first time I ever got to be a heel because she had less experience than me, and I didn't have that much.
And she's not a heel. I mean, she's really, as a person, she's so sweet.
Yeah.
She's absolutely
obviously sweet. Yes.
Yeah.
And really small.
And you could not. There's no way she's got a mean bone. Like even to pretend.
Wonderful Wendy. What kind of name?
Literally wonderful Wendy was her name.
So wonderful.
Because she was wonderful.
Yeah. But the match was easy. Whatever. They were like, oh, we're bringing her back. We're bringing her back. Got her against Natural. I was like, oh, I heard about her. I heard she's really good. I heard that she beat Lacey up once. Oh, I really can't wait.
I remember that one, yeah.
Do you want to clear that one up?
No.
Okay.
Because it's a vague memory. Like, I mean, it was vague. So I vaguely remember it, yeah.
I was excited. I'm like, I'm going to wrestle the girl that beat up Lacey. Yeah.
I had that reputation a lot, though. Like,
you did at that time.
Well, what's bad? Like, I think there was a couple companies that are like, yeah, we need her taken care of. I'm like, you guys, I'm not the bad guy. I really am not.
Literally, they put a hit out on a girl, and you were the one that had to carry it through.
I was just like, oh man.
That's been asked of me a couple times as well.
I love it. I love it when I got promoters nowadays. They're like, oh, we'll book you against her. So she's like, you're more than welcome to come in and beat the shit out of this girl. I'm like, I love you. I love you. Yeah. it's like, well, I'll pass. I said, I just would rather ignore those. So yeah, the ones girls. That yeah.
But coming down to wrestle you for the first time, 2003. You probably don't remember the date.
No,
that's okay. 2003.
Was it fallish? Fall time-ish? It wasn't summer, I don't think.
It would have been late summer, early fall, I believe. Because it was still definitely my first year.
Yeah.
So it was definitely 2000.
Because I thought it was like you were only a couple, I want to say like 12 matches in, maybe 6 matches in or something like that.
Let's say it's a double digit.
We'll say it's
Let's for sure say it's a double digit. Because the only numbers I really remember is like number 17 was ODB, and that was in Wisconsin. So I feel like it was after that.
Wow. You don't even remember my number.
I don't.
You can't even remember what number I was for you. You are awful.
You're not my first.
Oh. How many others were there?
I know. But it was still good. But it was still good.
I know. Oh, I know. I'm just kidding. Just wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
Okay, so I was really excited.
The tape.
No, keep it rolling. I was really excited to work with you and meet you because I'd heard all these awesome stories about you. And that was the first time I'd wrestled anywhere where they had separate locker rooms for heels and faces.
Yeah, Harley was big into kayfabe,
I was
huge.
Like, what? Kayfabe? What is that? What is that? I'm like, okay, well, I'm dressed and ready. When is she going to come and talk to me about the match? And they're like, no, she's going to see you out there. You guys are just going to call it in the ring. And I was like, what? What's that? Like, that's where you wrestle in the ring and you just listen to the veteran and
there you go.
There you go.
There you go, and there you have it.
Wait a second. Am I being set up? That's what I thought. I thought
I
was being set up. I thought I was being set up for an ass beating. And I was like, I didn't drive 10 hours to get my ass beat. So I came out all ultra aggressive. And I was the baby face.
Yeah.
And I remember things not clicking so awesomely. Because honestly, I had never wrestled anybody who just called it in the ring.
Yeah.
Just everything got pre-planned, and that's the way it always had been.
Yep.
And I was okay with it, and I was like, wait a second. Okay, chop, what? I bumped? What? What's going on? This is crazy. Oh, I'm so glad this is over. And he gets to the back.
Really? Oh, man.
He gets to the back, and Trevor pulls me aside, and he's like, are you normally a heel? I'm like, no, I'm not actually. He's like, because you were all super aggressive out there. You were super aggressive. I was like, I was?
Of her face.
Yeah. He's like, and she's like, just trust me and just listen to her. You guys are gonna have a much better match tomorrow. Just listen to her. And we had talked and we'd bonded a little bit that night.
That always helps, though.
Yeah,
in the ring,
helps.
For chemistry,
Yeah.
that always helps talking.
And then the next night, we killed it.
Yeah.
And that was history after that. It was like, you're my new best friend.
Oh, and we were road wives for a while, too.
We would travel up and down the roads together.
Yeah.
Double shots, triple shots.
Oh my gosh, remember that was the first WWE tryout.
Yeah, my first WWE tryout
Yeah.
was with Harley's group. Eddie Sharkey had gotten me the tryout, but I asked to do it down in the Missouri area so that I could do it with Harley.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it up in Minnesota with everybody there.
Yeah, yeah.
I just figured I'd have a much easier transition.
It'd be more relaxed.
Time. I would be more relaxed. I was very anxious around Minnesota wrestlers because they were very cliquey and not very nice. So I was like, I loved going to Harley's. It was like family environment.
Yeah.
Everybody was sweet. Everybody helped each other. Everybody helped set up and tear down the ring.
Yep.
That was big.
Nobody ranked over anybody.
No.
It's like we were a family back then.
You were a unit.
You could be mad at each other, but if somebody from the outside came in, it's like instantly, boom. Yeah, I mean, it literally is that old saying there on that.
And I would cry every time I left there. But yes, the first WWE tryout was a phenomenal weekend for us because so many things had gone wrong. So many things went wrong that weekend.
Oh, man.
Before we even talk about this right here, I drove my car down in the middle of the night.
Yes.
I'm gonna stay at your house.
Yep.
And I dropped my transmission out of my car.
Okay, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Yes,
My transmission went out in my car.
That's what it is.
And you'd went out drinking that night before, so I tried to call you to come pick me up because I'm stuck on the side of the highway. And you were out. You were passed out, I think, even.
Probably.
So I sat at a truck stop diner for like 4 hours waiting for you to wake up. So that
Was it like 6 or 5 in the morning or something like when
I was there for a really long time. Finally, you came and got me. I remember before we went to WWE, though, we went to Mississippi first.
Yes.
And hit an indie booking really quick.
Yep. For Down South Championship
Yeah.
Wrestling, Dwayne Huckleberry.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Sounds about right. I remember. You had a manager. The manager had a cane. He hit me when I hit the rope.
Oh, dude, that's the one where I spit my gum in the little girl's hair.
Yep.
Oh, that was not
good. To get you out of town really, really quick.
Yep.
Because of like an angry mob was forming.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, because, he hit you in the elbow.
He hit me in the elbow.
Oh, my gosh.
And I dropped like that.
Oh.
And you were like, what are you doing? I like, my elbow. My elbow. He took me out. Felt like I got shot. It was awful.
Yeah. That's a bad
awful.
Spot to get hit with a cane.
We finish that show. We go back to Missouri. We get ready.
I think we took like a 2-hour nap, maybe.
Yeah, took a little nap. And then we packed up our stuff.
Omaha.
Me, you, a couple other guys, and like Ace Steel went to Nebraska.
Yep.
For a tryout there. And I was super excited about it. And you were not.
Yeah, I kind of had I broke my... I don't know.
He broke up with you.
Yeah, my boyfriend broke up with me.
Like on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it was Valentine's Day. It was.
It was rough.
So,
that was rough.
I mean, not like, I don't even celebrate Valentine's Day, but I mean, either way, it's kind of a shitty day to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not like it was planned or anything. And that was I think that was like the week after, wasn't it, or something like
just
that?
Happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably the weekend after, because the weekend it happened, I was wrestling Little Jeannie the weekend before, so she was there. I fucking love Little Jeannie because she's like, fuck him. Yeah, Jeannie will get you through anything. Mm-hmm. She's like you, she's a strong woman, will get you through anything, and whatnot. So yeah, he broke up with me, and then like he was there on top of it.
Us.
So it was kind of like emotionally for me, it was really hard. And was it Fit Finley at the time?
I think so.
He was like, okay, you guys got 5 minutes. She goes over, and you're just like, oh, this is how it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do not remember it. But
I do. I'll never forget it.
I screwed it up.
I was emotionally wrecked at that moment because my hero, who I don't want to talk about at the time, would not shake my hand. I walked up to her and I was so excited to meet her. And I went to shake her hand and she turned her back on me.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, she's busy. That's okay. No, it's okay. That wasn't on purpose.
Oh,
and then
gosh.
later when we were at the ring, I went to shake her hand again and she turned her back on me again. And I was like, that one was on purpose. She hates me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That's devastating.
And then it was, get in the ring. You guys have 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's
Like,
just
and I completely forgot how to wrestle.
yeah, it was, okay, my recollection, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. And then what was it, like, when we were talking, I don't even know when we were talking about this, I'm like, you're like, oh, no, it was bad. I'm like,
it was bad.
oh.
It was bad.
Shit. I was like, I don't remember that. It's like, apparently, my memory is way different.
You remember Jazz refed it?
Nope, not at all.
She was.
Not
She
at
was
all.
the ref. I remember it.
Oh, that's funny. The only thing I remember, Molly Holly was there, and she actually, ODB, Angel Williams, and Tracy Brooks and I, we did a tag team down in Mississippi, and or Memphis area, and Molly Holly was there, but Molly Holly was at when we went to do the tryout and everything, and I'm just me, you know, that's probably not a good thing.
That's a great thing.
But all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I remember you. And she's like, yeah, the way she's like, no, she's like, if you, basically I was acting like myself. And she's like, yeah. I was like, shit. I was like, okay, cool.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Was it Austin Aries wasn't Austin Aries at that too?
I don't remember him being at that one.
Or the Kansas City one?
He was definitely at the Kansas City tryout.
It was the Kansas City.
Because we took pictures backstage.
Yes, that's what I remember.
We did extra talent.
There was a cop car and everything. Of course, Harley's there too, and this is probably the dumbest thing, but it's me. Mm-hmm. And Austin Aries is in his the cop uniform, and I'm just like, Aries, let's do this. So I remember you were taking the picture. I was bent over the cop car like this, going, and then he had his little the nightstick like as a boner. And everything.
I don't still have that picture anywhere. And if I did,
oh no!
If I did,
because didn't it come out in black and white?
Yeah.
Did you get it black and white?
Yeah.
I wonder if I got it somewhere. I don't know. I got some other stupid with my braids. I got pictures with my braids.
Oh my God.
They were awesome. She hooked me up.
Well, that's back when I first started wrestling. I had braids. They were awesome.
They were so cool.
They were awesome. And then my best friend in wrestling wanted braids as well. So what do? I give her my hairdresser's number. And what does she do? She goes and gets braids.
They were so cool.
And I looked at her like, that does not look good.
I got compliments.
You loved
Black
it.
people gave me compliments. She's the only black person who didn't like them.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was awesome. I don't care. It was awesome. I had braids down to my waist. Yeah. No, not waist. My butt, pretty much. They were so cool. I got compliments. I sat in there for 8.5 hours. 8.5 hours. Never again. I'm not doing that because I found out white people have slick hair and they have to double braid. 8.5 hours. Yeah. Never again.
Never again.
That was awful.
Now you know why. Now you know why I have a weave.
That was the first. Was that the first AV show? No. That we did a singles match that time. I'm thinking of the one with the balloons.
Okay.
I think I just had short hair on that one.
You just had short hair on that one.
Yeah.
Angel Williams had braids at that time.
Yes. Oh, dude, her braids were cool.
Yeah.
I liked them when they were so tiny. Mm-hmm. She did them herself too. Yeah. That's patience. Mm-hmm. I'd shoot myself. I would. I'm like, somebody else does. I will pay you.
So obviously we didn't hear anything back from those tryouts. I mean, we only got in the ring that first night, which was not good. And then the second night, I remember standing along ringside, waiting to get an opportunity. Like, I knew that tonight was going to go way better. Like,
oh, yeah.
Got some rest. Today's going to go so much better. And I just remember standing ringside. And
dressed, ready
to go. And they're trying to teach Matt Morgan how to do a headlock takeover.
Yeah.
And it was going on and on forever. And I was like, do you want me to show him? Because I know how to do that.
Oh, man.
And we stood there and stood there and stood there. And then finally they told us to go to the back. And we weren't going to do anything in the ring that day.
Yep. No. And I never even wanted to attempt to go back again.
No.
That was embarrassing enough.
Yeah.
That was just it was a bad weekend. It started bad, ended bad.
Ended bad. And then, of course, now the weekend's over and I have to deal with the fact that my car had died.
Yeah.
And I told you to drop me off at the car
Blue
dealership.
Springs in Missouri.
Just drop me off at the car dealership. I'll find a car. I'll buy a car. And I'll drive home. And I did.
Yeah.
And I did. And then that was my wrestling car for like 4 years.
That's it?
I drove that car
To the ground.
to the ground. Made the last payment on it. It died right after the last payment.
No way.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
That's awesome. So, obviously, I mean, you knew that I had career aspirations in WWE. I wanted to go to WWE so bad. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to figure out the shortest route. I mean, I was gaining all this experience at WLW, and I loved wrestling you down there. But I knew that I was going to be making some changes, and I ended up moving to Chicago.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Yep.
And so I started ended up not seeing you as much as I would like.
I was going to say, you only came down, you and your boyfriend at the time, you guys only came down for maybe a couple, not even a handful of shows and stuff since then. But, I mean, understandably so, you had other things going on your plate that you wanted to accomplish.
So, like, were you thinking, what do I got to do? Like, do I want a job? Like, what are my goals? What's the next step for me? Because I feel like you were going more into, like, more personal relationships and moving away from wrestling at that time.
Yeah, that was about, that was 2004. You'd honestly be an idiot and a liar if you said, no, I never wanted to get in WWE. And of course, that's like pretty much everybody's main goal. Pretty much you're set for life on the, you go up there, make $1 million or whatever, and then you can go on the indies, whatever. But, it's what, at that time, I actually got with my now ex-husband. And, and I got with him, and, honestly, I think like 3 months after we got together, I moved up to Kansas City with him and everything. I was still wrestling and everything. And then his work his real job and everything, well, he wrestled for Harley also. And, I don't know if it was Hurricane Katrina or whatever, hit Florida, and he was like in the roofing business, so he was a salesman. So we ended up moving down to Florida for about 6 months. And everything, so moved down there. We moved back to Kansas City in it was May 2005, and then I went to school because it was kind of rough. He was a wrestler, I was a wrestler, and you have relationships, where it's like like you said, you got you got two types pretty much. There's no middle of the road on this stuff at all. Really. You got the ones that either are very supportive of each other, or the ones that are pretty much, they butt heads, they're competitive, and
jealous of each other's success.
Yeah, jealous, and that I was on that hand where it's just like, if he could wrestle, he could wrestle, but I couldn't. It's like one of those, but like I still did it and everything. But and I think when we moved back, that was the one where Ted Turner was trying to start up his own promotion.
Yeah,
you were in Ohio.
Yeah, because you know how every 6 months somebody injects money into wrestling, is going to start the next biggest thing, and we're going to take on Vince.
Yeah, and WCW was done by that time, bought and everything.
So Ted Turner was starting his own new thing, blah blah blah. People were going out to do these shows in Ohio.
Yeah,
and it really wasn't that big of a deal. It never got off the ground.
Yeah,
really.
It was supposed to be something that was going to head up there and everything, and and I remember telling him, I was like, oh, Ted Turner's like doing a thing and everything. And I said, Josie's up there. I said, Billy Gunn was up there and everything too. And I was like, oh, hey, go up there. And then it was pretty much like, well, if you're going to do that, you're not going to be with me. And I was just like, kind of knocked the wind out of your sails. And you're just like, I'm not married at the time. We're just dating. And that should have been a red flag right there. It said, you know what, peace out. I'm gone. I'm sorry, can you do this stuff on here?
Okay, good. It's your Diaries. You can do anything you want. And,
that's a big red flag. Now that I'm older, been through that kind of a relationship, it was really hard, really strained. So, but I still, let's see, that was 2005. I got pregnant with my daughter, I found out April Fool's Day of 2006, that's when I found out. It was actually a couple months before our wedding and everything. I was literally finishing up school in the middle of planning a wedding, and then I find out I'm pregnant, and we're moving. So it was like if anything and everything happened that year, it pretty much did right there. And it's just like, oh my gosh, so, but we got all that, got a house and everything. And then, pretty much, I had her in mid-November. She came a couple weeks early and, whatever. And then I think it was in January of 2007, Harley had World League in, I think it was Hannibal, Missouri, which isn't too far from Kansas City, or, Blue Springs. I think it was like maybe a 40 minute drive. So we're like, oh, hey, let's go there, whatever. And, he's like, yeah, I'm thinking about wrestling. Well, of course, I'm like, yeah. I mean, honestly, in all honesty, I love my daughter to death. I wasn't ready to be a mom. My life, I mean, it is like wrestling is a very selfish business, and you take a lot of time to yourself and to like the bookings, the time on the road, and all this stuff, and like so I mean I was still really selfish, like, and I really wasn't ready for a child, and but I absolutely love the baby stage. Baby stage is awesome when they start talking. Just kidding. No, but yeah. So we went to the show in Hannibal, and we brought my daughter and everything, and yeah, BJ instantly, Harley's wife, and like totally just like picked her up and like, she's mine, I'm stealing her. She was the cutest little baby. Most babies are ugly. She was cute. I'm biased, obviously. She had a full head of black hair and everything, just like I did, and but yeah. Yeah, and, we're sitting there talking. I guess Derek already talked about, to Harley about, coming back. And it was Katie Siren and Christy Summers who were wrestling for Harley at the time and everything. And, yeah, it was them. And, like, I went there, and Harley is just like, when you coming back? I'm like, well, shit, okay. And I'm like, well, when I don't know. It's like, when do you want me to come back? I think that was only a month and a half after having her. And then it was early February. I went back to training. Like, we would drive down as a family, like an hour, 45 minutes to training. We'd train, then go back and everything. And like, so I was probably postpartum. I was probably at like 168 pounds. Like, but I mean, I was working out and everything. And then, so I was losing weight and everything, and Harley would just come over. I was doing sit-ups and everything, so he'd see the little mama belly still and everything, and he's like, poke. It's like, it's pretty hard under there. I'm like, it's not all fat. Just like, man,
I just had a baby, man.
I know, yeah. It's just like, he's just giving me a hard time. I was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I went back and everything, but like, I mean, my ex, he was not supportive of it really at all. And it caused a lot of heat, I mean, I remember saying, he's like, well, I'm going to really try and make it for WWE and everything. And I was like, well, well, what if I ever get signed? He's like, oh, because he was like, oh yeah, if I get signed, he's like, we're moving down to Florida and everything. I'm like, okay, cool. Cause Ace Steel just got signed and everything. We bought the gym from him. And I said, well, what if I get signed and everything? He's like, Peyton and I'll stay up here. And it was just like,
yeah,
another like knocking the wind out of your sail. You're like, wow, like there's no support on this. It's, I mean, it was really selfish, like on his part, and I was just like, cause I was like, rock on, you get signed, rock on, I was like, there's a lot of wrestling down in Florida, and then like, but like, yeah, and it was just, there was no support and everything. Went to Shimmer and and then like I wrestled first time wrestling Mischief and everything. I love wrestling her. There's so many girls, like people are like, who's your favorite opponent? I'm like, dude, I have so many favorite opponents because there's so many different stories to tell. Like the one at First Ave when we tagged and everything,
that was fantastic.
Yes, we gotta tell that one. That's great.
Let's tell that story really quick.
Yeah,
me and ODB versus you.
Wait, but beforehand though, they just got their boobs.
Yes, but it's okay. Me and ODB versus you and Angel Williams.
Yeah,
they are post Diva upgrade.
Yeah,
when they went together, got their boobs done. Yay, good for them.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
I'm totally jealous,
we're booked
right?
on this tag match at First Avenue Nightclub, my favorite place to wrestle.
Yes.
And you were like, hey, I'm the only one that doesn't have big cans.
I'm like, I have no Tupperware tits. Everybody else does.
Everybody's got big tits except for me.
Yeah. Very jealous, actually. It's a shoot. I'm jealous.
What'd I say? I'm like, well, put some balloons in there.
Yeah.
Put some balloons in there.
We get water balloons. We blow them up. So I come out. I got these huge tits now. Huge tits. And of course, you get some people that go, those aren't natural. You're not natural, blah, blah, blah. And we go, and that's when like I had to go pee really bad. And remember you delivered a low drop kick and I peed. I tinkled my pants. I remember
I'm very guilty of that.
I remember like rolling on the ground. I'm rolling one way, and then all of a sudden Angel and I are looking at her. She's like, I just pissed my pants. It was so damn funny. I'm laughing so hard. And get up, and then later on in the match, ODB, she comes off with like a double clothesline. Was it a double close? I don't know if it was just a single. Her and I were just in the ring, or Angel and I were in the ring. But she comes off with a clothesline to me, and she hits, boom, and it goes, boom, and it sounded like a shotgun went off in First Ave because the balloon just boom.
It was just your breath.
It was so awesome. Yeah. It was
a moment.
Amazing. I may
still have it on VHS.
I seriously want just that moment.
Yeah.
Freeze it and just like play that 10 seconds.
Yeah. It might have been filmed in black and white though.
Yeah. With your mom. Go Josie! Go Josie! Yeah. But yeah, so oh shoot, where was I?
We were talking about
Schiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrestled Schiff like 3 times. Harley brought her in. What year? She was probably a couple years in, you know. And I honestly, I was upfront with her, and I said, okay. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been out for like about a year and a half, had a kid. I said I've been wrestling, you know, here and there, you know, probably like twice a month, you know. And I said I've wrestled, you know, I've been wrestling kind of newer girls and everything, and doing 3-way matches, and then like wrestling Rebecca Reyes, and so I just wanted to, I just wanted to tell her. I said, hey, you know, it's, you know, I'm still a little rusty, you know, so I just want you to be aware of where I'm standing right now. And I mean, we had 3 matches. They were all great. She sent the DVD to Dave Prazak at Shimmer and everything, because she's like, hey, you fit in at Shimmer and everything, you know, we clicked. And and then in October of 2008, went up to Shimmer. But before that even happened, like, you got the home life, you know. It's like you got to take care of that. My daughter had a double ear infection. What was that? What did I say? It was 2008. So she was almost 3 years old at the time. Double ear infection. And pretty much I was a stay-at-home mom. You know, I mean, I still worked and everything, but I pretty much did a lot of the caregiving, because we had the gym. He pretty much just, you know, did that. You know, I did the cooking, cleaning, all that stuff. And, you know, so it's like this is pretty much the first time, like, he stayed home with her sick. So he was kind of an ass, you know. And I just remember, like, texting him after the first, I think it was the first night I got up there. I think it was a Friday night. And he said, I'm stuck in a room with potheads, go figure. You know, I don't smoke or anything, and I mean, they're great. I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person or anything, but
not at all.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there, because I drink. You know, I did, and did whatever.
Something like that.
And but like, and the response was, when are you gonna get over this shit? And I was just like, wow. You know, so then, like, I did one more show with Schiff, and I drove out to St. Louis, and we drove, I want to say an hour and a half south of where she lived with her then husband. And turns out they had the ring set up and everything. They had the, you know, everybody in the locker room changing. The money guy ran off with all the money and went home, and I was just like, fuck. I said, this is going to be a war at home, because I didn't get paid, you know, and it was, you know, and it was one of those things that was, it was one of those decisions. I mean, trying to balance out your family and trying to balance out, like I said, it's a selfish world, wrestling is, you know. I mean, so it's, I mean, and it's something that I'm very, like, I really love it, and it's not just an outlet, it's like my life, you know, it's been my life for 14 plus years. And it's really hard to balance that out. And it's like, do you want to fight at home over bookings and you know this way, or promoters not paying you or not showing up or whatever, or do you want to try to have a peaceful home life, you know? And it's just one of those, like, I didn't want to fight. I'm just not one to be like, I don't like fighting, you know. And it's just, I was like, it's not worth it, you know. I mean, and for 3 miserable years I sat at home, you know, or 2.5, I don't even know how long it was. That's 2008. 2011. Yeah, so like 3.5 years I sat at home. And like all my girlfriends,
and here we are.
She's in TNA, and I'm just like,
there,
I be on her.
There.
Yeah, like all the girls that I wrestled with, they were all at TNA.
Everybody got jobs, and she's sitting at home.
Yeah, I'm sitting at home. Yeah, TNA, and I'm just like, talk to her once in a while, and I'm just like, man. I was like, you know, it's like shit, and you know, and it sucks, cause I mean, like on my end, it's like these girls, you know, I work with them, I wrestle with them, and it's like they're in TNA, and I'm just like, oh man.
You're thinking, what could have happened if I had just kept going?
Oh yeah. And it is. It's like one of those, you kind of kick yourself in the ass. But on the flip side, I'm at home, and I got this beautiful little girl, you know. So it's just like, it's one of those things where it's the trade-off, you know. It's like, you know, it's like, would you really give up that little girl for that, you know, for backstage drama and all that fun stuff, you know?
I'll let you know.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
She always said the grass is not always greener.
No.
That, I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, even on indie companies, you always have like a little bit, I mean, not all indie companies, but like there's some of them where there's that backstage, you know, stupid stuff, you know, where it's just like, you know what? I don't even get paid enough to deal with this, you know, like, but yeah, so I mean, then there was that, and then there was just a lot of personal stuff that went and led. We clashed a lot. Like I said, him and I, we both grew up playing sports, so we're both very competitive, and it in the end, the marriage just did not work. I think we finally got divorced like 2 months, month and a half before our 5th anniversary. And everything, which was all right, because the 4th anniversary, this chick forgot. And what's sad is I picked the date because I'm like, oh yeah, this will be an easy one to remember. Nope, I forgot. And he even called me out on it. I'm like, yeah, I gotta stop off somewhere before. He's like, you forgot our anniversary, didn't you? I said, yes, I did. I completely forgot. But I know that is so bad. That is so bad. But I mean, things were going downhill for a while and everything, and it was just. I mean, we're friends now and everything, and we really are. Even my mother-in-law, she's like, I mean, I hang out with his now girlfriend, you know, like in a family setting, and with her daughter, mother-in-law, and everything. And she was even telling her boyfriend, she's like, they're way better friends than they were together, and it's totally true. And I would rather have it like this than be stuck in both of us being in a miserable marriage, you know, where it's just, you know, didn't belong. So it is really hard to balance a family, and it's really cool that like when I'm on the road, he's got her. I can call her and everything, talk to her, and so it's really hard. It's hard, like balancing that stuff out.
Well, you're doing it now.
Yes,
you're back.
Yes.
So you took 3 years off,
and then hit it hard. Yeah, actually, like the first, I want to say like the first, not even year, it was about 11 months. I took it easy. Probably did like one booking a month for a couple months, and I'd pick up another one. And then like a lot of the old promoters that I used to work for, they started hearing that I was back on the indies and everything. So like Ed Hellier at Steel Domain picked me up. Oh man, yeah, I was wrestling at Metro. Chiff, like I said, I got back to Shimmer again. And then I went back to, like World League Wrestling. So it's like I started getting the bookings, and a lot of the promoters that I worked for back in the day, they were just like, oh, you're back. Awesome. Okay. Boom. You know, come here. And then I started picking up a lot of other promotions like Heavy on Wrestling up in Minnesota, Power Wrestling. Got to work gathering other juggalos, you know, which was a blast. Yeah, right. No, but I got to see Vanilla Ice.
You did get to
Wasted.
see Wasted.
Yeah.
No, it was so awesome that you were back on the wrestling scene.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of veterans on
No.
the indie scene to carry girls because there's so many new green girls.
Yes.
There's not enough veterans out there
Yeah.
to carry all these girls. So there
Yeah.
were all these girls all out there having these terrible matches and representing.
Oh,
When it could have
Lord.
been just so much easier if you had just booked somebody with a little experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Plus, you're in the middle of the country.
Which is hard as heck to get
you're
booked
in
anywhere.
Missouri, so you're literally working the Midwest for the most part. Midwest and Mid-South is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
So you're doing Illinois, you'll hit Iowa, you'll hit the bottom of Minnesota, sometimes Wisconsin.
Yep.
But you hit like Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah,
Arkansas.
Michigan a couple times. I'm going to be going up there, like, I'm going to be doing a triple shot up there in July and everything, so, yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's pretty much, and the thing that stinks, like, Melanie Cruz and Heidi Lovelace, we were just on a road trip to Dallas, the last weekend and everything, and they were sitting in their car. I said, oh yeah, I told them I was 4 hours from St. Louis, you know, and they're thinking that I said 4 hours from Chicago. And I'm like, and they're like, hey fucker, it's an 8.5 hour drive. I'm like, yeah, I know. And there's Melanie's just like, fuck you. You said 4 hours. I said from St. Louis.
Yeah.
From St. Louis. It was the funniest thing. And I guess the whole time her and Heidi are like, how the hell does she drive this almost like every single month? She drives 8.5. I mean, it's 8-9 hours, you know, and then I drive St. Louis, stop in St. Louis and go back to Kansas City. You know, I said, yeah, I said, you know, like a lot of people just don't like, there's not a lot of people don't really drive like long distances anymore. Like they kind of stay in their territory area, you know, like, I mean, if I was in Chicago, there's a lot of places to wrestle in Chicago. There's I mean, you got Wisconsin, you got Michigan. I mean, you can drive like probably 3-4 hours and you can have like your whole month filled up only 3-4 hours away.
Right, but you know, you want people would normally drive, like they'll go out of their way for a good booking.
Yes. Oh,
so
yeah.
That's why you see people from Chicago driving to Philly. That's why you see people in Indiana driving to Charlotte. That's why they will do it, because they know that's a good booking.
It's good exposure for them.
Yeah,
they get to wrestle good talent.
And nobody's handing out flights.
No.
Nobody's handing out flights.
No. And it's one of those, like, that's rough, because especially when your cars are high mileage, or like my Explorer at 15 miles to the gallon, it's just like, oh my gosh. It can be a disaster. I think 2 weeks ago I spent $200 going up to Chicago and back. And, you know, and Dave Prazak was like, fuck. I'm like, right? I said it's expensive for me to take a booking, you know, and it's rough. And like they were saying, like, holy shit. It's like, I was just like, I can't, you do this every month. I said, yeah. But and at the same time, like, I love to drive, but I mean, it is rough because it's like extra days, extra time, you know. So
but it's worth it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love it. I get to see a lot of, like, that. The best part of coming back to wrestling is, like, I get to see my old friends, and I love it. Like, I didn't see you, it was 2 years ago. It was the first time I saw you since my wedding.
Like, and that had been 6 years? Right?
Yeah, that was 6 years.
I haven't seen you in 6 years.
Yeah, and like Helena, this is the first time I've seen her in probably 10 years.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we kept in contact and everything, but I mean, it's been sparse and everything, and the whole marriage thing, don't get married. Just don't get married.
Don't get married.
They never liked the wrestling girls.
It never works out. Jeez, stop flirting with the cameraman.
Sorry. He's yours to flirt with. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's what I love. And that's like the great thing. And then you get to meet so many new people. Like when I came back, I'm just like, you're hearing all these names. And like these new names popping up. And like I would text you. I would text, who was the other person I would text?
Rachel.
Yeah, Chiff, yeah. I would text you and Chiff. I'm like, who's this girl? You know, and then I can at least get like the lowdown. I'm like, how long they've been working.
She's all right.
Yeah, what do I need to watch out for, and like take care of myself. And
everybody knows Heidi Lovelace is one of my best friends in the whole world. And we were also roommates for a year. So she came back from Chicago, AAW, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be working a program with Miss Natural." I'm like, "Do you know I was at her wedding? Do you know that's one of my best friends in the whole world?
Oh,
You're gonna have so much fun. It's gonna be so much fun. Watch out, because she will punch you dead in the vag. She will, and pretend that was your stomach."
Oh my gosh! I punched you.
I got it on VHS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's why Heidi kicked me in the cooter.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, like it's so funny, like working at AAW with Heidi that first time actually wrestling for AAW. AAW is like a totally different style of wrestling. It's kind of like that ROH style and everything. And like I watched like maybe a little bit of matches here and there on there, and I was like, okay, you know, like I was thinking I'll wrestle like how I do at Shimmer, you know. I'm an old school kind of brawling whatever type of wrestler, and yeah, so go to AAW, you know, you got all the guys doing their styles, and then I go out there and do mine. It's almost like crickets. I'm like, oh, they don't like chaining. Okay, we don't do holds. We don't do this. And it's just like, oh, shit. So then we pick up the pace and everything. It got over and everything. I mean, it went great. It still was a good match, solid match. So the next time, Heidi and I are there, and they said, okay, I think this is the one. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's like a bunch of stupid shit. I'm like, oh, hey, let's do this, and this. I think I called you. I'm like, hey, can she do this? Can she do that? You're like, oh, yeah, Heidi's athletics as shit. And I was like, okay, cool. She is. Yeah. Oh, man. And then, so I thought of, like, Colt Cabana does that, like that, what is it, the British wrestling where they do the crisscross, slap, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, let's just, we're going to do a blow-up spot. So I was like, all right, you're going to put me in a headlock, or she puts me in a headlock. I don't know. One of us start crisscrossing, and we just start crisscrossing. Then I finally go, wait, stop. And I don't do the look up at all. I just kind of give her a knee to the gut. Boom, headlock, take over, head scissors, headlock, take over, head scissors, headlock, take over, head scissors. I mean, just keep on going and going and going until you blow the F up. And then I finally stopped. I'm like, wait, whoa, boom. She comes in with a drop kick. I'm out of the ring. The crowd goes fucking insane. And I literally am on the outside of the ring. I look at her, and she's supposed to be firing up, and she's so blown up. I literally look at her, I'm like, they fucking pop for that shit? I'm like, not for like the chain wrestling or anything the month before. It was for that blow-up spot. I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's probably one of my favorite spots to do with like some girls. I'm like, hey, let's do this as long as you can go. I said, I will go as long as you can go. And I think I did it with Randy West in Iowa like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Oh my gosh. And we did it a lot longer than I think we probably did like 7 headlock takeover spots and everything. And I mean, I literally, I got back, I'm like, I'm gassed, but I'm like, whew, shit, I'm ready. I was like, let's go. I love doing blow up spots. And that was in the beginning of the match too. In both matches, I purposely did it in the beginning just for fun. That's the worst part. It's not to teach anybody a lesson or anything or try to, out cardio them. It's just it's just for fun. I like doing a lot of stuff for fun.
Because wrestling's fun.
Yes, wrestling is fun.
You're crazy. So you've had some really good feuds with Heidi Lovelace now. Yeah, you and Chance have done the circuit. You guys have been married to each other for quite some time. Yeah. The past couple of years here.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. Yeah.
And now you're back wrestling for Shimmer. Do you have any goals or places that you would like to work?
Yeah, there's always, like, one of my things that I absolutely want, I really, really, really want to go, I want to go overseas. Germany has always been a place I wanted to go to. Actually, I have distant family over there, too. So that's one reason why I really want to go over there. Actually, it's in Austria, like Vienna, Austria is where my family's at over there. My Opa, every summer before he passed, he would always fly over there for 3 weeks and like stay with them and everything. So just like one of those things, like I'd like to track him down. Not like I can talk to them or anything. I don't know German. I know bad words, but yeah, definitely like overseas, Australia. Like those are, I mean, I'm at the point where like Japan, not so much. Okay. Well, it's like I think like I look at the old videos and everything that I had. Okay, when I was younger, it probably wouldn't be a problem because they hit, they're solid. You know, nowadays I'm just like, I work smarter. I work smarter these days. I I'm not young and dumb anymore. My head can only take a couple more shots. So, but yeah, definitely like overseas is like a big thing. You know, I would like to get into Canada. Yeah, I mean, I just want to basically spread my wings as much as I can before I'm done. So, which probably I'll say like, oh yeah, probably in a couple of years.
So are you not chasing the big contract in the sky anymore?
No, I like having fun and freedom. I mean, it's one of those it's always like, you know, yeah, that would be really cool, you know. I mean, not just to say, hey, I did it, you know, just to have that achievement, you know, just and whatnot. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of those, if it happens, it happens. Awesome. If it doesn't, I'm not going to dwell, you know, like be bitter towards anything because I have had so much fun. Like, I call this my home stretch, but I don't know how long that is. I'm going to be like that 70-year-old woman. You're like, really, you need to quit. You need to quit.
We were wondering who that was going to be. Because everybody's retiring right now.
It'll be me because I never know when to leave a party.
Yeah.
I never know. It's
who's
like,
going to be the one left over?
Yeah, it's going to be me. It's going to be like, no, seriously, you got to go. That facelift's not working for you anymore.
Oh, my God.
I'll be like that. No, yeah, so I mean, you meet so many, like, that's like the cool thing, like coming back again, so many fresh faces. I mean, and like I said, the talent, like Heidi, I mean, she's amazing talent, and like her and I, we just have that chemistry, you know. It's like it's kind of like having that chemistry with you, chemistry with Chiff. You know, it's like you're finding these new girls with, I mean, that just, I mean, and the wrestling has changed. You know, from, like you said, like back then we were doing 15, 20 minutes, old school, you
and
know.
We were excited about it.
Yeah.
And now you're like, let me get this little entertainment spot in here.
Yeah.
See if that works out. Like, oh, they popped for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like the older you get, this is what I realized, the older you get in this business, you add more comedy. You add more comedy in there to get over, like.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. And it's just like, but then I'm still one of those stupid people. I'm like, I'll bump my ass off. And then I'm like, yeah, and then Joe's like, oh yeah, no, oh, okay, no, one bump, maybe one bump. I'm like,
girl,
yeah,
save yourself. No,
yeah. I actually had a match with Jazz a year and a half ago, and I think she took maybe 2 bumps, and I took 1 bump in like 12 minutes and everything, and it was, I mean, and it was a great match. I mean, we had a phenomenal match. And it was in Tennessee, so they like that old school style, and I mean, it went so smooth, and it was so easy, and of course, some jackass like pulled the plug on the camera and never recorded it, so there's like no proof out there that I ever wrestled Jazz.
Awesome. She remembers.
Yeah, she does. She does remember. So
she remembers.
Yeah, but it was just one of those things. It's like, damn, because it was such like old school style, you know, call it out in the ring, you know. And then I remember telling her too when I remember telling her out there or in the back, and I told her, I said, hey, I said, you know, since I came back, I'm one of those, I'm just going to lay it out there. I said, I've been doing a lot of, you know, 6 to 8 minute TV style matches because a lot of them are being recorded nowadays. And I said, so like everything's planned out. And she's like, well, just call it out there. And I think we called just like a cutoff and the finish and everything. I said, all right. I said, I just want you to know, just a little nervous, you know, just because it's been so long, you know. But yeah, once we were out there.
You were fine.
Yeah, we were fine.
You were fine.
We were fine, yeah, and it was hilarious. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Well, any thoughts of possibly your daughter growing up to be a wrestler? How would you feel about that?
I may be too old to travel with her, but I will still travel with her.
Okay. So you're completely supportive.
No, protective. Protective in this business.
Okay.
Yeah,
but if she said, this is what I really want to do,
I would totally be behind her.
Yes.
I would honestly, because if it's a dream that's the one thing I will never, and I'm totally supportive. I was even with my ex-husband, even though this is sad, right? I knew this was one thing that was going to end our marriage, you know, but I was totally supportive because I don't want to be that person. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, you know, but like, I never want to be that one person that kills another person's dream and make them live miserable and have that regret, like, oh man, what if, you know. I never want anybody that I'm, you know, a part of their life I don't ever want to hold anyone back, And it's just one of those things I never want, because I had the what if, you know, and it's just like, you know, I would never, if my daughter did it, and the cool thing is I could help guide her even more so, like, because, like, I went in there, you know, I played sports my whole life, you know, I started lifting when I was 13, you know, I mean, my first Muscle and Fitness I picked up, I'm like, wow, this is cool, you know, I started lifting, so at least I could guide her put her in the right directions, and protect her from the stupid things that can hold you back even more, you know. I won't lie, I like to party. When I was younger, I liked to party, and I know that was one thing that held me back more than anything, because I like to party, you know. I mean, I like the gym too, but I like to party also, you know. And so it's like, just to say, hey, stay away from this stuff. If you're really serious about this, stay away from this stuff, train, be the best at what, that's the one thing. I was like, I mean, there's not a lot, I don't want to say there's not a lot of moves I do, but I want to be the best. I'm usually one of those people where I want to be the best at what I can be at whenever I do something, and I would want that for her too. Just like, if you want to do it, I'm behind you 100%, and I will be there for you, and I'll do anything for you, even travel with her to keep the boys away.
Well, she'll be third generation wrestler.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
She'll have a lot of years in the wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up from here. But do you think there's anything that you would like your fans to know about you? A lot of times, you know, people talk about, I just want my friends, my fans, everybody know, you know, I love wrestling. You know, it's my life. Is there anything that you would love people to know about you?
I mean, I'm just like, I'm a simple person. I mean, I really am a simple person. I'm a total dork, though, too. So I like comic books.
Yeah.
I like, I mean, I'm a complete dork.
I'm obsessed with Wonder Woman.
Yes, Wonder Woman. I love Catwoman. Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Hello.
And she has a Thor cardboard cutout that you're ridiculously attached to.
I try to get Thor in every shot in my apartment. If I ever take a picture and post it on Facebook, Thor's got to be in there. Like, just because it's like a run-on joke. Because Stacey O'Brien, one of the girls that I wrestle with too, she got that for me and everything. And I was like, this is gonna be like my whole joke. Is like, every picture I put on Facebook, he's gonna be some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be his whole self or anything, but yeah, no. I'm just like, I'm the same as, we're all the same as everybody else. You know, I'm just a big dork. That's pretty much it. I love life. Would never ask for anything more, you know. Then I got my daughter, I got wrestling, I got my friends that I haven't seen forever. I get to be back on the road and just enjoy what I have left and stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
Glad you're back.
I know, me too.
Don't leave again.
No.
Don't leave till I leave.
70, remember? 70. I'm going to be that lady. Be like, seriously, you're going to be putting diapers on me so I don't poop and pee in the ring, taking bumps. That's what you're going to be doing.
You should not be taking bumps at that time. You should have learned how to do the no bump match by then.
I'll be that stupid where I still will.
All right. That's where we're going to end this episode of Diva Diaries. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope to see all of you very, very soon.
I love you. I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first, from the Golden Valley, the pride of Minnesota,
Well, we are back with more action, and Miss Natural's in the ring.
Miss Natural's always a lady, isn't she?
She is a powerhouse, and no doubt because of that name, the heritage that she's carrying around from Ken Patera.
And she's a lady.
She is a lady. I mean, I just saw her spit chewing gum on the guy in the front row. Just like a lady.
Just like a lady.
Just like a lady.
Sure fell out of her mouth.
I'm pretty sure I saw her spit it right in that guy's face.
He didn't glasses anyway.
I can see from a distance, and here comes Miss Natural's opponent.
Approaching the ring from Houston, Texas, former Diva.
And we're getting our first look at Audrey Marie. I believe it's the first time she's been in North Carolina.
I believe so, and definitely the first look we're getting at Queens of Combat. And as you said, taking on Miss Natural, Heather Patera. Audrey Marie already caught a large cheering section.
Locked up into a headlock by Audrey Marie. Audrey Marie, quite accomplished wrestler in her own right.
Absolutely, former FCW Divas champion down there. And very accomplished, as you said. Could make quick work, but Miss Natural almost had her right there.
It was a beautiful sunset flip. Now with a crucifix, rolls her up again. Another 2 count. Audrey Marie is showing us lots of speed in this ring, and that is something that can counter power, and that's what she's going to need to go up against Miss Natural.
Natural obviously has a lot of power, trained, of course, by her father, Ken Patera, and Harley Race, of course. You can't ask for much better than that. Oh, my goodness.
Look at this by Audrey Marie, using a matrix move into a head scissors, and a drop kick has Miss Natural stunned. 2 and just a 2. That was very close.
I could be wrong, but I don't think Natural really knew what she had in store for her tonight out of Audrey Marie.
Oh, big kick. Audrey Marie, very aggressive in the ring. I mean, she has come out here and been a ball of fire since the bell sound.
Certainly so. She's got a lot to prove, of course, against somebody as accomplished as Miss Natural.
Nice counter. Oh, Miss Natural able to drop Audrey across that top rope.
And how quick something can turn in your favor, and it has for Miss Natural.
Miss Natural going to go right to the boots. Miss Natural stalking her opponent, but Audrey Marie fighting back, but a forearm to the face. Oh, now she's going to step on the throat. Using every bit of that 5 count before she let go.
Miss Natural Heather Patera's style is not necessarily graceful, but it is very, very effective.
She's just going to drag Audrey Marie back in the ring by her hair. Look out. Very precarious position. Oh.
Like I said, not graceful, but very effective.
Oh, Miss Natural going to slam her right into the turnbuckle upside down. And she's got her by her hair, just pulling her underneath that bottom turnbuckle. I mean, viciousness personified right here by Miss Natural. And now she's bowing to the crowd.
Natural even making a couple fans out there.
That's Pork Chop Cash. Just gave her a high five. Face full of the apron, and Audrey Marie in a lot. Ow! Wow! What a chop!
Good Lord. Heather Patera just treating Audrey Marie like she was a worker at McDonald's or something. Did anybody get that?
She is
Jeff Todd?
I'm riding right past that place. She is dropping some bombs on Audrey Marie. Audrey Marie got to get away. She's just got to get away and recoup after all this punishment. Big suplex, standing suplex.
Look at how the blood rushed to Audrey Marie's head.
This can knock an opponent out. If you let that blood flow drop and then snap them onto the mat, this is how you can pick up a pinfall. I think Miss Natural pulled her up.
I think she might have, because she didn't hook the leg. So I think she probably did pull her up for more punishment even.
She hadn't let go of her hair yet. She's just dragging her around by the hair, a punch to the midsection. It looks like she's going to go for that suplex again. Up in the air again. Oh, a counter! Counter by Audrey Marie. She shifted that weight and almost picked up a 3 count.
Audrey Marie with her second wind, it looks like.
She's trying. She's got a headlock, just trying to hang on.
Heather Patera cutting her off.
Leg to the midsection. Audrey Marie is really taking a lot of punishment from Miss Natural. She is staying on her, just driving shots right to the face. Miss Natural now in complete control. Clothesline.
Taking her right down to the mat, Jeff Todd. Going for that cover again.
That was a lazy cover there. She probably could have had a 3.
Should be hooking the leg and is not.
Now Miss Natural just got both hands underneath the chin of Audrey Marie, just trying to bend her backwards in half. Oh, clubbing blow across the face. But she's just showing no respect.
Come on, Audrey.
Audrey Marie, nice ankle pick, takedown into a cover. Only a 1 on that one, I believe. Clothesline sends Audrey back down to the mat, and Miss Natural, look, she just keeps grabbing her hair.
Miss Natural's been utilizing every rule-breaking thing in the book practically.
She's just ripping at her hair.
But Audrey Marie is fighting back with everything she's got against Miss Natural.
She is pumped up now. Russian leg sweep. Miss Natural could be stunned. Audrey looks like she's going to go to the top rope. I don't know if I would go up that quickly.
Not against somebody as experienced as Miss Natural, and she paid for it there.
Oh, just a straight out punch to the face. And another. Miss Natural just no care, no respect. She just wants to punish Audrey Marie, and they're slapping each other in a dangerous position, climbing up the ropes. We got Baz as a headbutt. I mean, balance is an issue when you get up in the top rope like this. Anything can happen. You can fall to the floor. You can fall over the pole. Miss Natural's going to try to suplex her in the ring.
Oh, good Lord, Jeff.
Superplex, Bob Orton style. But both competitors suffered from that. I mean, that's a big fall.
It absolutely is, Jeff. Both women still down, still rocked from that superplex.
We've got a possible double knockout here if they can't get to their feet. We're up to a 6 count.
Crowd still solidly behind Audrey Marie.
Miss Natural able to get a cover, and it's 2 1/2, 2 3/4. The referee says 2. I mean, if you're going to count, that's as close to 3 as you could possibly get. Miss Natural could have made that cover quicker. I believe she would have had the victory right there.
Natural just clubbing blows at Audrey Marie's head.
Oh, Audrey reversed, tried to slam her, but Miss Natural able to counter back into a pin, and she's got the tights on top of that. Miss Natural just stole that victory with a 1, 2, 3 holding the tights. Well, I don't know how much of a lady she really was, Amber.
What? Her music says she's a lady.
She had a handful of tights. I mean, everybody in the building here, Club Huss, is telling the referee, but he's not listening. He's going to let it stand.
Well, great showing out of Audrey Marie here at Club Hush tonight. She might not have come away with the win, but she's earned the fans' respect.